that domestic matchup, rather, that always gives us good games. So let's hope that's the case, as ENVYUS on the pistol, the T side already fight for that outer door. Shocks spots the man above, but he doesn't see the cross here. So already a flood of terrorists down towards the B site. Apex pops the head of the first, but he too toppled as RPK swings it back. Sixer joining forces from the vents in a 4 versus 4 that's targeting the B site.
Yeah, Body's thinking about rotating shortly, but there's a lot of pressure on Kenny S to deny this cross. He is going to get pushed from control momentarily, as Shocks will spot that player that is happy, who jumped off Marshmallow super early to catwalk and just kind of sat there. So they're dispatching of all these players at ENVYUS right now as NBK gets rotations through. I think he has a good idea that XMS did get himself in towards that danger area. So now he's the last one remaining. XMS in a 1v3 is going to be messing around with the doors. But he has bomb on his back, but shut down from Shocks, who ends up getting a 3K on the round. Not only did he do a good job towards outside of not dying, but also dealing with the player that he knew dropped off and could still be lurking towards outer yard.
So ENVYUS fielding a buy this time around. They're going to go for that Kevlar. They're going to get their pistols. We'll see what they can do. I mean, they got the Deagon happy. Got a Deagle on XMS as well, so those are going to be the two players looking to pluck a man first and foremost, and then those Tech 9s with the ability to rush. Unfortunately for ENVYUS, they're not even going to have a single smoke, no flashbang, so taking map control and forcing G2 off of certain angles is definitely going to be a tough job. Instead of going for that inner yard, they're just going to play for outer. And Kenny S, with that scout from afar, is already spotting targets. Although he hits nothing, it's Shocks who finds the headshot onto Happy. That's the first man to get taken down as Apex closes the distance and takes the next. Scream as well added to the corpses, and it's just down to Sixer with RPK by his side.
Yeah, not much going ENVYUS's way. They didn't have much to really work with to try to make it go their way, but now they are just slowly but surely getting picked across the map. G2 would love to keep all 5 alive until RPK shows up and finds Apex, and he's going to get a second one on Kenny S, so all of a sudden RPK finds a couple frags as he'll try to push into A, but Body top HUD. Easy turnaround for him. Lose it all on Sixer, 17 HP, although Body and MPK are heavily tagged. Still a lot to ask with 50 seconds, and the bomb is just kind of sitting there in limbo.
Yeah, that was the really scary situation, right? Was when RPK was still alive, there was that ump behind Sixer that he could pick up if he were to so choose. There's these two players already tagged quite heavily, so they could have made something work. But at this point, G2 are just posted up on that bomb, and as Sixer creeps his way in, he is shut down. So G2 ultimately convert that point. They sustain 2-player loss, but that's all right. We're going to have a pause here before ENVYUS get into the next one.
The pause is gone.
That was a quick one.
That was a super quick pause. It's what you like to see. We'll see how much G2 are willing to put back into this. We might even see Shocks now. It's a rarity, but I've seen it before, at least in NACS, where when you know the other team's going to have barely anything, you just keep the pistol. So you just take the upgraded pistols. Some oppers will just stick with a P250, because knowing they're just going to get the taps. And that's exactly what Shocks and Apex are going to be doing, and they're going to get aggressive behind it. NPK is going to push up, has the pistol behind him. Shocks finds one in this push as RBK, as he normally does with a P250, gets one before he falls. As Happy is spotted and should be dealt with momentarily, and Kenny as well. So G2 get the clean 3-0 in what is kind of a quick fashion so far, as the pistol round was quick pace. The following 2 rounds was ENVYUS getting picked apart. But now here's the real test for G2. ENVYUS is by. XMS will go for the Galil, get that utility. Sixer can have an AK and utility himself. But it is the early op out from Kenny S that may have a larger impact than any other rifle in ENVYUS can.
The big question will be, can Sixer shut down Kenny S, right? Because ever since Kenny S leaves ENVYUS, Sixer's been that primary op. And while he's not necessarily a dedicated opper, and he has the ability to use his rifle play, when it comes to straight op duels, Kenny should be winning those every day of the week. So will they be able to prevent Kenny from just putting his team on his back? I mean, yesterday we saw that crazy op presence from Oscar on Mouse Sports, and that was really what allowed for them to piece together the win versus Astralis. So if Kenny can do it as well, things will get interesting. But it's XMS with the Galil to find the first. Shocks gets aggressive, and he costs himself his life. Team ENVYUS slowly playing with this 5v4.
Yeah, that's a good opener for ENVYUS. They get Shocks pushing towards outer yard. And now they still have a ton of time to work with. Shocks went for that push super early as NBK gets tagged down, has to molly and fall back. Kenny S will get here in time, and he's about to have a party around the corner. Uninvited as he only gets one and turns his back. Sixer will make him punish for it. As Sixer tries to pick up the up and push up towards heaven. Good hold from Body as RPK shoots, well, his teammate after he found Body, but, Still a man advantage. It could have been a 2-man, but it's definitely worse outcomes than that, I think.
Yeah, they also know that the last player had fallen back from ramp,
Yeah.
so NBK was predicting that fast B play, wants to fall back and just kind of get to safety, and then all of a sudden ENVYUS just redirect themselves towards hell. So that was a very fast push that really didn't give G2 much time to shift their attention back to A. I mean, it's happening so fast that within the chaos, RPK gets a team kill. That just goes to show how chaotic the situation was. But regardless, it's ENVYUS who come out on top. I mean, RPK grabs the M4. He's going to fall back to stay alive. And Team ENVYUS, the moment they have guns, put a round on the board.
Yeah, and Kenny has kind of got unlucky too, right? NBK threw a molly and fell back, thinking that he was going to continue to push in towards B. And Kenny has rotated to try to find one, then fall back to hell. Instead, he was met by 4 players around the corner who wanted to push in towards hell, into his position. Now, if Kenny S just holds in hell, yeah, he might not get the opener, but he can hold and then fall back towards outer yard. Just get a little unlucky there. As ENVYUS overwhelm him, the rest is history as they take the A site 3-1. We'll see AK is now across the board as G2 will muster another buy, and it's right into the double ops. So Shox and Kenny S, no surprise. Nuke, I think it's going to be the exact same story as on Inferno. As soon as they can afford it, they will go into the double op, even if it is on a buy where your teammates have 2 UMPs.
Putting both ops towards ramp at the beginning, though, as Kenny now tucks tail, heads down to the B site, and will probably go towards secret. This is a really cool position to play that op from, but RPK's gotten here preemptively. So if Kenny doesn't find the timing on the peak, he could get overwhelmed up close, very similarly to that last round. RPK, however, walks down the staircase, and it costs him as Kenny now retreats further back to the next angle. Shox takes the next with another off peak, and almost hits the flick. Happy with a headshot to body as Shox begins to burn. He's down to 20 health, and he will die as Scream crisps him and takes the man advantage to ENVYUS's favor. Apex and Kenny S 2 versus 3, and they're split across the map.
Kenny S is going to start to work up ramp, and Scream just has the angle on him, will shut him down. And I do want to talk about the little thing what Shox just did there is he saw the molly land behind him, but he also saw the molly land in front of him. So no matter what, he knows he's dead. If he peeks, he gets shot. If he stands the mollies, he's dead. So he plays the time knowing he can stand the molly for a bit longer than if he ran out and got shot immediately. So he looks for the peek while on the molly. Doesn't work out for him in the end. Now G2 are left with just Apex, who's already spotted from Mini. With 35 seconds, ENVYUS are just going to head to B now. Sixer's looking to challenge here, actually.
Yeah, Sixer has that bomb as well, so he needs to make sure he doesn't drop it, because if Apex were to get control, then who knows what happens. But ENVYUS ultimately convert that point and keep 3 players standing. This bottoms out the coffers of G2 Esports, and they're just down to the mid 2K. Certainly not going to be able to buy into this one as NBK picks up only the Deagle. It looks as though it'll be vanilla pistols across the board for the rest of the Frenchmen. Team ENVYUS, however, at this point, sitting fine and dandy. They've got the cash flow behind them, 2 consecutive rounds. They avoid that hard reset, and this is the exact start you'd hope for on the T side of Nuke.
Yeah, look for Scream to be kind of like the cultivator, the farmer. They'll send him in first with those Mac 10 against unarmored opponents. Plus, for information, it's just an easy send, as he is actually just going to hold for any kind of push in towards Hut and slash lobby. While Sixer, interesting that Sixer's holding that angle. I guess because they have no pressure towards ramp for the T side. Lobby's very open from Squeaky to ramp. So it's nice to have someone watching your back, although you do trust Scream if someone shift walked all the way around. That's where Sixer's looking, as it looks like ENVYUS are going to line up the smokes for the outer wall. And it's an interesting play against Pistol, just playing extremely safe, make sure your smokes work, make sure there's no gaps in them, and I guess it's a good round to go for this. It's safe, and it looks like they're actually going to go through their smokes too. They're thinking about it.
G2 have no reason to leave the bomb sites. I mean, it's a matter of time before ENVYUS arrive. And it's within that arrival that they're hoping for some kills. Again, just the pistols. G2 have no business winning. ENVYUS just playing this very cautiously, but they also have to be aware of the time. You don't want to push into the bomb site, lose a couple of players, and suddenly start scrambling for the plant. Instead, you want to ensure that you have enough time to commit to it. Body starts to burn inside of the vents, though, as he drops down to 10 points of health. There's lots of CTs here. Sixer gets denied as Apex whips back round. Scream with the Mac 10, though, suddenly shuts down this threat, and Happy through the vents finds the very next. Scream with the Mac 10 with another, and it is just down to Apex opening the doors and turning this down to the 1v2. Still no plant, 15 seconds, but that A site's clear for the taking.
Yeah, I think they're going to hear Apex coming. Yeah, they just heard him drop as he's going to poke his head up. And I do want to talk about the smokes ENVYUS used there. Granted, it was against a buy of G2 that has a couple upgraded pistols, but it's a different iteration of smokes that cost 1 less. Now, a lot of the smokes we saw Astralis and Mouse Sports throw, it was the smoke deep big garage. You saw the smoke outside of Mini, a smoke in the middle, and a smoke top red. Now, the smoke mini for ENVYUS, that smoke execute wall only costs them 3 smokes. 1 in big garage, 1 in the middle, and 1 closer to mini entrance. So it cuts off mini completely and big garage. So that smoke costs them 1 less, and it seems like a better alternative that allows them to push close to mini and then take a different angle to secret. So if there's any spray, it's going to be off the mark than what they're used to.
Team ENVYUS try a lot of grenades at the beginning of this round, but they ultimately just get fumbled. Their Molotovs don't go out, their smoke grenades plume a little short, so we see ENVYUS just stagnate within the lobby. NBK is going to take position towards ramp and try and make first contact, but nobody presenting themselves just as of yet here from ENVYUS. It's Apex caught in the open as he finds one. He is done. Body with the flank, however, drops that bomb. Happy and Scream convert the opportunity into the 3v2, but here comes MBK. As he hits the dink, Scream drops to 9, and it is just Kenny S. But Scream, with only that bit of health, hits himself the headshot and will find ENVYUS the lead.
Scream's starting to turn up, and that's a scary fact. Is if we go back to when G2 initially got formed, I remember when these two teams played, it was just Scream to drop an absolute just
Their
bomb
first
of a
matchup
game.
on Cash.
Yeah, the first one on Cash.
Yep.
He just, I don't know if it was anger or something built up in him, but he just released it completely. And it's good to see Scream find some consistency in his taps, consistency in his gameplay. And ENVYUS, they rely a bit heavily on Scream to perform. He's a large portion of their firepower. And it's good to see him put up numbers like this and start to put the right foot forward for ENVYUS in this, again, domestic matchup. Whereas G2 are going to be put back down on some pistols, some armor, not much to work with, as ENVYUS start to find some room and a little bit of an economy buffer for their T side.
This is the kind of round where G2 will be able to afford a bit of an investment. They're not going to be able to get too much into it, but at least 3 players on Kevlar. Everybody's got these pistols, barring Kenny S, who really wants that op. The only flashbang for NBK, though, could be a limitation. If they decide to push as a unit, they can maybe try to, hinder one of these T-peaks. But it's Body with a 5-7 who hits a headshot and lights up another. Sixer drops to 8 HP. And G2 now with that flash try to take the ramp room. But NBK rounds the corner just to get shut down. However, Kenny with a headshot of his own looks for more. He'll be toppled. Scream will find that frag. Man advantage here for ENVYUS to play off of. They've dealt with the threat of the pistols. They've obliterated what was there from G2 and leave it just down to Apex and Shox. Scattered across the site, but oh, that's key. Shox hits one hell of a headshot, and Apex has that Kevlar AK to play off of.
And only that, Shox is going to go grab this weapon. And Sixers heavily tagged down to 9 HP as Shox is going to push down from ramp. Caught off from XMS's angle as Apex. On a 1v2, Kevlar AK. One player's in dark and he has the molly for it. That's going to force Sixer out. And XMS has to peek. No, he's just going to burn alive as the bomb is kind of planted for XMS, but he has to push forward to get vision on the bomb, and that is when Apex will spot him, but not in time, as XMS will clean it up. But that was a costly round. Although they got the bomb planted, only money to the bomb planter. And that still costs them a lot. And you can see how skilled G2 are, even when it just comes down to pistols, and making those situations can tilt either way.
Yeah, sometimes when a player has nothing to lose but a 5-7, they're allowed to make these risks that they wouldn't normally do in gun rounds, right? That's the beauty of the pistol play, is that it can just be so hyper-aggressive. And that play from Body was a prime example, not only taking the first headshot up close within Hut, but then tagging that other player to sub 10 HP. 190 damage off of a $1,500 investment is great, especially when a guy like Shoxy can just pop ahead with that deagle and really try to, cement the retake towards the B site. But it's a gun round once more, still only an op in the hands of Kenny S. No response from the op for ENVYUS just yet. Kenny's going to get blocked off by the smokes, and it's the up-close positioning of Shoxy to take one frag. Kenny removes the man from the silo as Happy goes down. It's a 4 versus 3 with ENVYUS heading towards B.
And those are the same smokes again, deep close to mini. The smokes aren't meant to actually bloom in big garage. They deny vision for Kenny S, which allows him to get that peek and the safe peek towards Marshmallow. So that's one downside of these smokes. But they are a bit safer when it comes in terms of crossing and making sure the mini player can't swing. As all of a sudden, though, ENVYUS are now man down. Scream's heavily tagged down to 10, although we've seen what he can do in low HP. Never count Scream out of a duel. As Sixer's going to sit towards Sync, see if G2 are going to over-rotate. It looks like ENVYUS are just content to kind of fall silent in this spot.
Bomb's not currently in their possession either, so that's going to be another factor ENVYUS have to deal with. Sixer trying the floor bang, but no target there. The man towards ramp is the guy who comes out with the kill. That's NBK. Scream was waiting for some kind of a flank, but it never arrived. G2 have just very passively been holding off on the site. Again, they know that the bomb's down. They have no worry in the world. And Scream at this point is just going to go for the save. So keeps that AK rolling. G2 with another round on the board, and keeping 3 players alive was crucial here.
Yeah, they didn't have much money to begin with, so it's nice to keep the op out in Kenny S. 2 rifles, plus they have a little bit of utility sprinkled around it. They pick up 2 AKs, 2 sets of Kevlar. And ENVYUS still have built up a fair bit of bank, so it's going to take another round to send them back down. So ENVYUS will get another round of a full buy. They have a 1-round lead right now. And they're, I don't think, nope, still no op answer from ENVYUS. But I guess they're almost in a spot where they don't need to really answer back to Kenny S's op with these wall of smokes, with the comfort they have with them. And they're kind of almost avoiding Kenny S in a sense.
Yeah, it's not as though Kenny has had these kind of, crazy wild impacts yet. He's able to remove a man from Silo last round, and it's from Silo that Happy gets the kill to Shock, so that op, ever so absent, allows for that peak, and Happy capitalizes on it. Shock's caught off guard, and that's a man advantage for ENVYUS, with a very real chance of taking this away.
Was that Kenny who just shot Apex?
Must have been. The only op in the server hits Kenny for 61 is all he's left with.
Damn.
Apex is going to play the position that Shock's wanted to get into.
Yep.
So they're still able to get here. And remember, it's not that the T side spotted him and lit, but instead, it was Kenny.
It looks like Apex is just going to sit here and wait, but ENVYUS are going to fall off. So they use their smokes. They keep 2 in play and just fall back. But MDK, this is the play. He pushes into lobby unspotted. There is one player by Squeaky. And it looks like Scream is just going to destroy the dreams of MDK as he just wide swings, clears lobby, knowing that could have been an option. As G2 are kind of fishing for some straws, trying to pull some straws out of a hat, trying to bring this back somewhat.
Kenny's able to pluck XMS, and that's going to at least give them something to play off of. But with Scream taking control room and being traded back by Body, the T side still have this advantage. As the bomb crosses towards the site, Kenny gets taken down. Body tries to find the kill to Rafters, but RPK says otherwise. That's ENVYUS now with a 2-point lead, and the money for G2 shattered.
No money on round 11. You're down 2 rounds to the T side of ENVYUS. Things are looking really good for ENVYUS, not only the money side of things. The fact that they haven't even had to answer to Kenny S has kind of been a big play here. Normally going outside, it's scary. Kenny S can just pick you apart. Even when you go for the smokes, G2 are willing to contest it. But ENVYUS' smokes, their positioning, their contentness to just casually walk it out, not make any sound cues, has just been a big point into this game.
I mean, Kenny has had more impact with the op towards ramp than he has outside, and that goes to say something, right? I mean, opping duels is normally the bread and butter of that outer yard, and not in this case. They've been using the smokes, pushing up forward, doing a very good job of dealing with him without having to actually fight him, which is a great way to prevent him from getting impacts and from taking those early frags, right? You just avoid the AWP, and you just force yourself forward. That's what they've done here towards ramp once more. NBK gets killed, and a man advantage for ENVYUS as they deal with this anti-eco.
Happy be in a rough spot. Gets some damage. Will clean up Body, swings on the second player. As he's onto the pistols, he gets pushed, cleans up Shocks. Looking for the third, and of course Happy will get it as the bomb gets planted simultaneously. Apex won't find a frag, so ENVYUS keep 5 alive, go up to 7, G2. We'll get a buy here, I imagine, unless they're not willing to send Shocks and Apex down to UMPs, which they are willing to do so. So Kenny S immediately goes into the op. Actually, did Shocks get dropped? Okay, so someone dropped Shocks to the op. So they're going to go for the 3 UMP double op. Kind of goes back to the point we made earlier where if they can afford it, they'll go for the double ops no matter what their teammates can really put on the board.
Which is kind of weird depending on the maps and whatnot. I mean, there's been a lot of heavy smoke play from ENVYUS that, again, has countered these ops. So we'll see if maybe the 2 ops can work things out. At least this way, you don't have to rotate your op based on the smoke grenades, but rather just post it on multiple angles. And Shoxy drops the bomb over here towards Squeaky Door, which is perfect. Sixer's able to take that first frag, so it's still the 4v4. Scream from above, trying to find an angle on the outer yard, but he has to be cautious. Kenny's playing the opposite rafter, and he's going to have his eyes down towards the floor. Finds the kill to RPK, falls down as well. Meanwhile, Scream gets his way through Mini, and XMS hits a headshot, so a 3-on-3 is what we're left with. And now it's up to Apex. He reveals himself, defends the bomb, takes down 2 till XMS shifts this back to the clutch with a minute on the clock.
Kenny S is going to get himself to Mini. He's going to have the angle on Squeaky Door. XMS is aware of this, so he is just going to fall back. He's going to get himself all the way to ramp. And a cool little thing that happened at the beginning of this round is Kenny S was posted up on Squeaky. He had a teammate open the door and another teammate challenge with a UMP. So they were willing to trade 1 for 1, and it worked out with the bomb. But all of a sudden, ENVYUS had brought it back where XMS has to get a 3K and find Kenny S. And it all comes down to timing in the situation for both players. Who's going to get the drop on who? Who's going to be holding which angle? As XMS looks like he's willing to just walk out to Big Garage, take a little bit of a jaunt. I think he may consider pushing into Mini here. I don't think he wants to go the secret route.
Yeah, I don't think he's running out of time at this point, right? And you want a couple of seconds to clear the bomb site once you get there. If you just go straight for the plant, you can catch yourself with little time. But as he pops the vents, he needs to commit to B. The 10 seconds left to play with is going to allow for him to punch in the digits. Now we've got Kenny S on the retake with that op and the sidearm the USP. The frag grenade to prevent that peek, and the headshot found. XMS clutching it out. 3 kills on the round.
That was super sick. The nade kind of like creates almost this like fake kind of, is that a flash? What is that? What's coming my way? And then when it explodes, there's not much vision for the opper back up on Catwalk, and it's an easy kill for XMS, who pushes MV to 8 rounds on the T side, which is arguably
fantastic.
It's doable now. It's completely in the realm. It's a great half. As again, they're going to put G2 on pistols. So this has kind of been the tail of the tape where G2 invest into the double ops a little too early, and then they get sent right back down to the pistols. The double ops haven't been working. G2s have been countering with smokes, flashes, and innovative plays to really just hamper Kenny S's and Shox' day.
Another little headshot from RPK. This is just G2 trying to take individual duels one after another. Kenny S, the last man left, and he too removed thanks to XMS. ENVYUS, 1 away from that sweet double digit.
And I kind of mentioned it before this game. If you can get clean opening frags on G2 that go almost untraded, which is kind of exactly what's happening, where ENVYUS can get the clean one-on-ones, and either it's a clean kill or it's an immediate trade back into their favor. There's like no hesitation right now for ENVYUS, and G2 are just feeling almost pressured, like they need the ops. I feel like they've almost been forcing it down the throat of ENVYUS, which just they don't need that medication. They're saying no thank you to the doctor. That is G2.
Kenny's so committed to the op that he is that glass cannon. So 14th round, ENVYUS just shuffling their attention within outer yard, popping the windows. So hopefully we get to see a nice little execution into the A site. That's always fun. There's so many variations to the nades that you can play. There's incendiaries for the top of hut. You've got the smoke grenades over for the top of heaven. And then again, you can also just use pop flashes and sell the fake, because they're going to use their smokes on the outer yard. So now you've got broken windows to pull the attention of G2 towards A, but now all of a sudden smokes on the outer yard. So which of the two is the fake? Which avenue are ENVYUS going to pursue? Apex still committed to the site itself with Body by his side. Body finding that first one as the T's execute forward from Mini. Bomb drop thanks to Apex and Shox. Happy's all that's left. And while he does lurk successfully, that's a big clutch to ask for. G2 find 5.
Really cool play from ENVYUS, although G2 just shut it down, not over-rotating, not really overcompensating for what they saw. ENVYUS throw the smokes, and then they run through Mini, and G2 just locked down the site. They actually put 2 players in site that time, which is a change-up. Normally they have a player Heaven and a player Mini. This time, they put 2 back site, which was actually the perfect counter to what ENVYUS tried to employ there.
I also think there's strength to playing on the floor of the A's bomb site. Again, if you have players who are just filtering their way through those choke points, you can just spray within a cone of damage. And it's easier to kind of switch targets once those aggressive pushes come in. We see that, again, from the back of the site, thanks to Apex Body and Shox to help out from above. Just great stuff. Nice A-hold. They don't fall for it. They don't pull their attention outside. They just stick to the site, and they hold them back. And can they do it once more for that 6-9 score? ENVYUS just going to keep themselves within hut, not playing the outer yard, not playing the rooftops either. Very much committed to the inside.
RPK going to toy around the idea of putting himself in towards hut. Uses flashes. Just hold. The Sixers going to be looking towards ramp. And a minute strikes on the clock. ENVYUS don't have too much map control. They do have 1 player pushing, it looks like, towards outside. That is going to be Happy. But other than that, they're just content to sit and give room and time for Happy to work with while they're getting ready to go towards ramp. It looks like XMS is going to push forward. Throws the bomb over the screen. So just hold on to this as XMS is going to get ready to push forward.
NBK makes a sound cue, though, so they know that he's up close, and that spray connects for a sweet deal of damage. Screen dropped to 10. Now, Kenny S rotates over like normal, and he's able to drop XMS. So that's a player lit and a player dead, and G2 in a prime spot, but Happy lurks in from behind and takes those 2 headshots. Classic Happy, as Body responding with 1, shifts this back to the 3-on-3, but that B-bomb site has fallen.
That lurk couldn't have been better.
Nope.
Not only did he get outside silently without getting spotted, but ENVYUS made sure to make contact towards ramp, knowing Kenny S would rotate to help out that player ramp. He's done it multiple times before, and they abuse that fact, which gives an opening to Happy. But now in the retake, it's getting scary for ENVYUS. As clean as that was to get into the site, and a great job by Happy, they still have 3 players to deal with. Sixer gets a hole blown in front of the door, as he's going to be looking for more, and he is going to be able to get Apex. That hole in the door is going to be able to allow him to keep peeking, as now they can be up close and personal, shut down as it's all unhappy. 26 HP, as he's just going to be playing with the bomb.
Happy goes for the peek,
Wow.
but he just gets denied. Body splatters his brains on the side of ramp as G2 will take 6. So you get your pistol, the conversion points, and then there's that huge spree of rounds from ENVYUS thanks to that reset in the 10th. And then these last 2 rounds for G2 on the board is certainly something to work with. Definitely better than nothing, and definitely better than what they should have gotten, considering ENVYUS' spree.
Sorry, I'm just dying over here casually.
Oh,
It's okay.
would you like help?
I don't think I need help yet.
Okay.
I'll think about needing help, and by the time I need help, I won't be able to ask for it.
I'll bail you out if you get unconscious.
Well, that means a lot to me. Thanks, man.
ENVYUS CT side has arrived, and they're going to have that decoy to play off of. Happy doesn't buy either. What is up with this?
It's kind of like you're banking on. It's almost like even if you lose pistol, you win because you have so much money. But if you win pistol, now you have extra money to get the M4 into the next round.
Too meta for me.
It's very meta.
Happy with the headshot, though, so question him not as he finds that opening advantage. XMS as well from control has the chance for Kenny S, but no. He's going to drop back, and Shocks behind enemy lines spots this lurk from Happy, so he too toppled. G2 back with the man advantage. Bomb shuffling within the inner yard, and Shocks still standing. Spots another man towards heaven, and he wants to get down secret to join forces on B.
Yeah, that looks like the play. Scream yet to rotate. Same with RPK, just staying in hut. Then is broken, and they do have a player from G2 posted on it. A Sixer is going to make sure that Shocks wasn't causing any more havoc towards outer yard or sticking around a bit too long. You see Kenny S' angle. This is the most aggressive angle event you can play. Just hoping someone peeks. Although a Goomba stomp is possible, because I think the fall angle may be a bit better than the upward boxes. But it looks like ENVYUS is going to try to retake with 2 members from ramp, and MBK may need some help momentarily.
Yeah, he's going to take the duel on the right side, spots the man on left. Great play from NBK from that Glock, but Sixer shows up and he pops ahead of his own, tapping the bomb and forcing the peek from the man in Toxic. He's going to have to tap this again as he doesn't have the kit to play off of, and he wants to win this first duel. Not going to happen.
Wow.
Just playing with his food at that point. Body finally commits to the exit, takes that kill, and G2 find the pistol they wanted.
So well played from Body there. Just opening the doors was enough to get him off of the bomb. And he did it 3 times in a row, and finally time was just too much. And so yeah, Happy not buying armor. He's kind of a rich man right now, even though they lost. So it's interesting. I don't know if that's going to become more and more of a thing. I don't know, because that kind of allows you now to, if you don't invest that $800, if you lose pistol, the next 2 rounds you can almost justify going for 1 round of head armor and upgraded pistol, then another upgraded pistol. So it's interesting to me, as G2 should just have a wash here. Although, never count out ENVYUS, especially with pistols. There are no deagles, though, just some 5.7s, CZs, P250s as RPK gets the opener. XMS does his best to try to give him another man advantage, but Kenny S shutting down lobby until Scream just wide swings with a CZ. So G2 not sitting too comfortable now, especially when an AK gets in Scream's hands. And he has bomb.
Yeah, that's the biggest factor at this point, right? So G2 need to just go elsewhere.
Yeah.
They need to just surround him and then come in from all the sorts of different angles. But Happy's doing a good job of preventing this. And he gets behind near knife, but Shocks whips around, takes the headshot, and Screams left alone. What in God's name was that?
I don't want to know, man. That was almost awkward. I don't think Scream's closing the door here, so that he's just sitting here casually, content. But Body, the moving UMP, flies out of the door and cleans up Scream. Now that almost got extremely awkward for G2. If that knife comes through, considering he was out of bullets on CZ, then it's a 2v1, bombs down, time's becoming an issue. G2 luckily avoid that just disaster that could have transpired. And are now going to, yeah, so Happy allowed to get another upgraded pistol. And RPK with a bit of cash flow as well. So maybe that leads to the pistols. Maybe that money leads into the buy rounds. It's something we're going to have to, I'll call Happy on the phone, dude. I'll ask.
Scream and RPK combined for the first one. That's Shocks who tries to get out Squeaky, but he's pinched. Thanks to pistols. P250 and a CZ, it's really nothing to work with as G2 just swarm this outer yard. They've already pushed themselves to the far side of heaven, and it's Apex who's looking for an opener. But that flash certainly doesn't help, although Kenny's there to save the day, and RPK is dead. 4 versus 4 back on the table.
Cool little thing that happened towards heaven there, where if he shot one bullet before the flash made that the noise, because it hits the door or catwalk before it pops. So that one bullet may make him look not look away from the flash. The little things I like to pick up on. As XMS is going to come through the smoke. Sit himself here in the vent. 16 HP at 667, but just silenced USPs. We're going to be tied up at 9s momentarily as soon as the bomb goes down. It looks like Sixer gets a CZ, gets out of dodge. He may try to save $500, but I imagine an exit frag is worth more to him than saving the CZ right now.
They're all just going to exit out from heaven, so Sixer is presented no targets until they start to run. Ooh. The one man on low HP still survives.
Yep.
CZ lets Sixer down. He's just going to try to fight for the bomb site, and why not? Goes down in glory.
Goes down a hero. And we'll see. So immediately Sixer binds the op. XMS goes into the FAMAS. Utility's not a problem. The nice thing about the CT side, when you get mollies, is it allows you to molly Squeaky and molly Hut super early, and allows you to get in more comfortable positions. Like if you want to jump down onto Hut, gives you that time window to do so. Push close Squeaky. Again, it gives you more time to do so. As Sixer's going to go back out to Big Garage, look for the opening. There's that almost like default smoke. Almost every team throws towards front red now. As G2 sent 3 players, including Bomb, towards ramp. 1 player lobbied to keep presence. And 1 player spawning outside.
XMS switching guns, though, as the terrorists push through, so G2 trying to turn it up towards that ramp, and Sixer hits 1 shot. NBK with a headshot to XMS, though. That's going to clear out the B site for the most part. Happy's still down there and able to grab another frag. Apex trying to clear out the windows thanks to the gap, but at least he's been able to cross to the site itself. He is, of course, the bomb carrier. He's going to leave the device on the site.
Interesting. Also interesting, that player in control threw a one-way from himself. It created a little bit of a one-way for Happy. I guess that may have been a preset smoker, just the luck of the draw. As Happy will go down low to Apex. Kenny S picks up the bomb. He's going to plant it, so the Opper's planting the bomb. I like it. The bomb will go down on Silo. Kenny S is going to go meet up in sync. He's going to be the man to worry about and support Apex, who is on 12 HP. They'll get a nade in, but ENVYUS definitely have the HP advantage here.
Shots rattling towards ramp. Scream trying to take this advantage, but it's RPK to drop Kenny. Shocks to swing it back to Scream. RPK towards the site as well. Terrorist side just not peeking as of yet, though. G2 doing a good time of holding their own.
Wow.
Apex finds RPK. Sixer's nowhere to be found. He wants that op in the next one, and that's where we'll find the pause as G2 take back their lead.
You get the pistol round conversions, and then you're able to pick up a 4th. Or excuse me, that was the 4th. So good start to the half for G2. As ENVYUS are going to just talk about it. 4-round loss. They save the op. Now, I doubt the conversation they're having right now is, do we force round the op? They're kind of in a situation where it's almost justified, but at the same time, if you go for a full save or just pistols, you can get one out next round anyway. So I imagine they're discussing the next rifle round. They may just be talking about where to throw Sixer by himself and go for some kind of a pistol stack or pistol push with the other players right now.
Now, at this point, G2 have won both of the pistols, and they've converted both times into that 6-point lead, right? And normally with these kinds of back-and-forth games where we see them being not so lopsided, If you win both of the pistols and can convert, you should ultimately win the map, right?
Yeah,
It's
unless
gonna
something goes wrong.
Yeah, it's going to take an atrocious amount of gun rounds for the opposing team to get back that 6-round advantage. So G2 have put themselves in a prime position to continue forward and close out this game. They're just going to have to deal with that one op of Sixer, and they do so by heading outdoors. They use the wall of smokes to ensure the cross to secret, and they still have the presence already inside vents thanks to Shocks.
Yeah, Shocks are just going to sit there and wait. Apex is going to run down, meet up with them. Just thinking about pushing in towards control. Shocks is going to make presence now towards vents. It's a little Lancy, almost shoots his teammate, but we'll clean up that player that dropped down. As there's still a player in dark corner. See if that gets hard cleared, actually. It will. Scream is the last one remaining now. They clean dark. And Scream's in a 1v5. Essentially, he already got one. So 1v4, gets spotted while falling back. Wants to peek with his deagle. I think Scream's just going to be trying to find something. Find maybe where Shock's gun is, but I think that's down in vents, right? So not much for Scream to really do here.
Just hoping for a kill. I mean, at this point, G2, right, they're running away with rounds, and they're doing so with players still standing at the end of this. I mean, look at the utility still on Body and Kenny S. That's just going to help with their reinvestment on players who already have more than $10,000. This is a great half so far from G2, and it doesn't show any signs of stopping. And it shouldn't in those sorts of rounds. If anything, ENVYUS need a buy like this to kind of turn it on its head. They'll have the incendiaries to curb that initial push if G2 try to get aggressive, and then also have enough nades to counter the executions once G2 get rolling.
And they'll have kits, which is nice to see. So they will have something to give them a little bit more time when it comes to retakes. As RPK is going to be playing top silos, will win that initial duel. Now, Nuke has recently been changed, and I say recently, it's been a month, where that gap has been widened. So that's a new engagement that you can take. And that's another opening for the CT side now for ENVYUS. It's at least something to go off of. As Body, Kenny S, and Apex get tagged down heavily. Scream is just going to pop some shots through, and we'll deal even more damage on towards V2. But again, look at Shocks walking up. I don't think he got spotted. Sixer's down. Now Shocks is going to go, and RPK needs some help because he's going to get pinched in from Squeaky and Heaven.
RPK is still holding this sight as he takes another one, but it's Body and Shocks to find the others. So our Happy has to clutch 1v2. He's inside of the smoke. He hears the audio cue, but the flick shot's not on point. Shocks from above takes that final frag, and G2 move to 12. So now things go from bad to worse for ENVYUS. They're back into these kinds of subpar buy rounds if they try to force it. They can get that half buy, but at that point, G2 sit on 13. This is very much G2 coming to life on their T half. There's been zero response from ENVYUS. They have not found a round as of yet.
Maybe this may be the one. Who knows? Upgraded pistols, flash and a molly. Although it's the same kind of situation where Body's just going to become this man to go first. Find information. Apex is going to use his AK towards outer yard. Try to find the opener. And he is going to spot one player towards Heaven. As ENVYUS probably try to push up a little personal. More up close and personal than they have been before with these pistols.
Body's got that MAC-10, right? So his life the most expendable. They're trying to use the utility, burn out the far box, allow for him to focus up close, and it's there that he finds the head of XMS. Kenny S wins the op fight outdoors, and Kenny swaps the sidearm for the second. His Body also takes 2. So, again, one of these rounds where the moment G2 pull the trigger, they find 4 frags, Happy's left alone, and ENVYUS have no chance in hell.
Yeah, this one's going to go to 13, and then ENVYUS will get a buy. Happy can't even clean up his meal towards upper. He's doing a little bit of a dance. Get it, Happy Meal?
Oh.
Yeah, I thought you would have laughed at that one.
Swoosh.
That's okay. I was shooting in the dark there. I'd hoped you'd pick up on it, but that's okay. 13-9, and we will see another op out on Sixer, but it's kind of been falling silent. It's kind of the same situation if the sides were swapped. It's kind of the same silence that Kenny S had on the CT side. It's been a while since Sixers had an opening frag given to ENVYUS. It's kind of been the rifles finding it. As Apex is going to throw in early smoke, same with NBK. You may see just a quick play from outer towards G2 as they send a couple players in or towards Squeaky.
It's been multiple rounds now where we see ENVYUS trying to get the player into that little corner of secret. And that's a spot that didn't necessarily exist in the previous iteration of Nuke. So always fun to see new transitions. And it's the walkout onto the A site that gets NBK 1 frag, but RPK holds it himself. He's already found 2, and Sixer here to support with 2 of his own off of the op, so it's just down to Kenny S with the magic stick in hand. He's got the bomb on his belt and the smoke to block off Mini, but with so much time on the clock, he does not need to commit to the plant. I would much rather see him try to find the 1v1 and then focus on the bomb plant when the time works against him. But for the time being, well, he'll just get dropped from XMS. So he was trying to find some sort of an angle, trying to find a way to fight it back. But no, ENVYUS, they have found double digits. They too put up a round. And it's not like G2 are short on cash.
Yeah, they're loaded. They're good until, I think they're even good next round. I don't even think they're worried. I think they'll still get a good buy next round, even with 2-round loss. So that's 1900 on top of all that. Yeah, they get a buy next round too. So ENVYUS really have to start stringing rounds together. If they get reset here, it's GG pretty much. Yeah, it's not much you can do. You're at 14, 15 by the time you get rifles back out. And it's going to take a while. As Happy's just going to sit here. 2 openers for ENVYUS. Good for Happy as he's able to get 1 before traded out. So this is now looking good for ENVYUS later in this half, as they're looking like they want to string a couple rounds together. Scream's going to shut down Kenny S. NBK now to 1v4, as this team ENVYUS starts to string some rounds together, and it's kind of the thanks to G2 switching up the pace in the last couple rounds. They haven't been playing that slow, methodical, throw smokes, lurk out, play slow, get the opener, now let Happy lurk. They switch it up to quick plays, and ENVYUS are locking it out.
Yeah, the round previous, they just go that walkout A play, right? And it almost works, seeing as the one player is caught off guard, but RPK was behind the silos, which is a really good spot to just, peek both left and right and engage one-on-one. Sixer in the final frag gets it from CT spawn, where they buy guns. So, incredible stuff there. Even this round, they go for that wall of smokes, but unfortunately for them, by the time that it plumes, there's already 2 players down, and G2 are fighting in a 3v5. Now again, luckily for G2 Esports, they had so much cash saved up that they can get another full buy, despite not finding bomb plants, despite not taking down too many players from ENVYUS. Now we're back into a much closer game. ENVYUS still trailing by 2, but this looks much more doable than what we saw in the first portion of this half.
And I mean, if they lose this, next round's 2400, and 2 players were kind of loaded, so they may even justify a half buy next round too. So the ENVYUS are still not out of danger. They still have a lot of work to do. And it starts here with cleaning up this one and then putting G2 in an awkward spot. As Apex has already pushed up close to Mini. He's thinking about just swinging on this corner. As ENVYUS pushes into lobby, both players who pushed into hut will just lose their domes. RPK and Scream down. And that's the aggression from ENVYUS that I'd like to see. But it kind of came at a preemptive time where G2 are ready to actually have a lurk come in from Mini. So it was just perfect timing for G2 and unlucky for ENVYUS.
It's just the fact that ENVYUS aren't willing to wait 45 seconds, right? It's a minute 15 on the clock, and that's when they decide to push. There's still so much time. You can expect G2 to just be lying in wait. If G2 themselves have slowed down the pace, it's because they're ready for those pushes. And now NBK is going to pick up the heat a little. XMS from above drops another, but it's a 2v2 back on the table with that flank from Happy inbound. G2 could force the fight on A, but the longer they wait, the more time Happy has to flank. XMS still on the site, can't take that frag, but Happy drops the bomb and NBK lit to 22. 30 seconds on the clock to play off of, and Happy gets smoke screened out. So instead of lingering around, he's going to tuck tail and come in from a different direction.
Super smart. And the question is, does MPK stick to the site or he falls down? So he's going to fall, but Happy, the position he's rotated to, we'll see if he's going to go down ramp. It looks like he is going to fully commit to hell. But the one thing I'll have going for him is, as soon as his palm goes down, I think he'll hear it. I think he heard the plant before it actually went through and alerted him. As MBK is on 22 HP, as now Happy will know where it is. Clears out the A side. He has smoke, flash, and a kit. But look at the position from MBK. Completely caught Happy off guard. Who's going to hightail it to the site? He's banking that MBK won't wide swing, but the smoke misses. Now that's critical to force Happy off this plant and off the defuse. He has to get into the smoke, and he will, as NBK. Will he spot him? And he will last second. So that smoke a little bit off. I think maybe the foot of Happy may have been showing. He may have been fully in the smoke, but NBK's positioning is really what won him that round.
I mean, it's NBK missing that first headshot on vent that allows Happy to even get there. And then had that smoke grenade been on the bomb, I guarantee Happy was a stick that. And the thing with NBK was that he just stuck in the vents. He tried to call the bluff, and that, I believe, would have been a full defuse from Happy. Had that smoke not gone so far, he was not willing to commit without this cover. And even then, when he gets back on it, that was, within 2 seconds of being diffused. Luckily for NBK, he resets the crosshair and finds that headshot. So excellent stuff from G2 to put another round up, but it does cost them most of their team. NBK, the only man to still stay standing. Kenny S finds the opener in this one as the 26th round's upon us, and it is just pistols for ENVYUS.
They do get 2 openers and now a third, so all of a sudden this round kind of falls apart for G2. It's the round they don't throw any smokes towards outer. These players are dying with pretty much full utility. So it's a round where G2 know ENVYUS don't have much, so they're feeling extremely confident to just push out and take these aim duels. And ENVYUS, with just the numbers, overwhelm them. And there's another one from Happy, and it's all in MPK, who's on 36. So just when you think G2 are going to get match point, they're going to get to 15, they're going to be feeling comfortable, they just run towards outer and run into the setup from ENVYUS, who are ready for some kind of aggression play.
This will be now the third round that G2 lose because of aggression, where within the first 20, 25 seconds, they've lost players all over. And at least that one time when they had the wall of smokes, it almost worked. But this time it's a clash with nothing. RPK up close takes the last. NBK was trying to clutch out the 1v3, but they had that bomb. The time's against them. And that's such a hard reset for G2 now to have to deal with. I mean, that's a fantastic turn of events for ENVYUS. One of the most crucial rounds for them to win. And they do so with such little investment. They're going to have all this cash still to play off of in this round, which means even if they lose a couple of players here, everyone's going to get rebought for what will be the remainder of this game. It's the 27th round. They're down by 2. G2 still short of overtime. And they go for the force buy with the quadruple Tech 9.
It's an interesting buy, and it looks like Shox is going to be able to get down vents by himself. Now, he's done this before where he gets down vents and just sits there and waits and prays him from ENVYUS drops preemptively. As MBK, the only one with the UMP, is going to follow up his teammates. As they start to push in towards Secret, Shox is just going to sit there. But look at ENVYUS, they have numbers here. And XMS is not messing around. He's just going to deal with Shox, who allows teammates to rotate. That's 2 for XMS as he spots the third towards control room. But this starts to fall apart from G2 thanks to XMS making that push in vents. And RPK allowed to rotate as he'll find the last 2. Now ENVYUS are within 1. And G2 is starting to slip away a little bit as they have to take another save here.
Yeah, they went for that force. They wanted to try and take it, and they come up completely empty-handed.
Yep.
I mean, you could see the game plan that they threw into it, but that's not something new. They've used that multiple different times, especially with the Shox down vent play, right? So he, in and of itself, indicates what's going on.
XMS knows.
XMS
100%.
knows. He takes that close-range fight. He really forces himself down their throat before they can do anything about it. So excellent stuff there from ENVYUS to keep this game rolling and to give us the barn burner we wanted. I mean, this is within 1. G2 still on pistols, so 14-14 should be in the cards, and who knows what happens. Scream's going to deal with the first pistol and the second. No, Sixer gets that one from afar. So thank goodness for teammates, as Happy now creeps out from Secret. Again, this is just dealing with pistols, which will come with relative ease.
Yeah, it should. As RPK is just going to sit second vent. The help of Sixer again will find a frag. RPK will drop. I think he's going to be the only one unless Shox gets some going. And he will catch Scream swap into the sidearm, but 14-14. ENVYUS keep the op in play. They only lose RPK. Easy rebuy for him. Now G2 taking a pause. Now the question I guess they have here is, do we go for the op out on Kenny S in this situation? Do we go for this T-side op? And if we do, where do we send him? So that's already off the table. It is going to be AKs across the board. Now, the smokes from G2 are working beautifully at the beginning of this half. They have the traditional wall of smokes towards Secret. They got out there without relatively much challenge. But G2 have also been liking the lobby control and slow play, where they kind of methodically pick apart the players on A. So it's kind of opened up now the playing field to what G2 can do. And again, it's another nuke map where we haven't seen ramp abuse that much. It's been a couple times, but it's been relatively silent.
That's the problem, is that the G2 are taking the B bomb site with that Shoxy play down vents, but 4 people in Secret. There's nobody to deal with the rotations that ENVYUS are using from ramp. And when you have that ramp rotate going straight to the B site, it's then that B gets locked out. So if they have that late lurk coming in from ramp, then maybe they can see ENVYUS's rotations being exploited. But if G2 just keep hammering their head against the wall by hitting this Secret with 4 players, then I don't really see this working, because ENVYUS seem to have the read. They're playing very responsive. Although Happy's trying to lurk behind those blue boxes, and Apex has his number. Hits that headshot, takes the man advantage, and now ENVYUS begin to sweat.
Yeah, now it's a rough situation for ENVYUS. Not only have you lost your player towards outer and you don't have that control anymore, now you don't have the eyes on to what ENVYUS are up to. It's all on Sixer to spot this out, and that smoke's not going to help. Now they can wrap to Big Garage, catch Sixer off guard, or just try to push through the mini-smoke. The world is really in their hands right now to what G2 can do. And you're going to see Scream in sight. He's going to have some help from RPK towards Catwalk. That Scream's just going to get flashed and immediately falls back in sight as the execution comes out from G2. And Scream's got the first. He's looking for some more. Needs help from RBK as RBK can only get 2. Scream gets 1. But XMS with the flank drops the bomb. 1v2, but no shut down from Shocks as G2 will get on 15.
Great stuff. I mean, that's what they needed. They change up play ever so slightly. You could see how obviously the defense kind of saw it coming. Thanks to that first flashbang, Scream gets back behind the silos. RPK and him combined for 2 to 3 frags, and then it was XMS who had to come up with the clutch. He drops the bomb. Could have disengaged had he chosen to, but he sticks to the fight, and it's there that he loses it. G2 secure OT. Now, thankfully, ENVYUS still have money to play off of, so this is going to be a real close round in the 30th. Exactly what we could hope for. Sixer with the op, posted on the angle, looking for something outdoors, where again, G2 tried to emphasize a push.
They're being really quiet about it this time, though. No smokes. They're just casually walking out. And Apex is going to get himself close mini, and they smoke off mini themselves and that box, which implies to me a big garage push. And that is going to be the play. So G2 is going to smoke off close and push into big garage, but Sixer's here, and he's going to be able to fall to heaven for free. And due to G2 not having that op to try to counter this, Sixer can just sit and post up. So immediately, G2 are remembered down, but they do have hell control, which is almost not worth it. But if that player back red box is just lurking.
XMS is in a really unorthodox spot here. I mean, we see Sixer get that 1 op kill earlier in the game, but for XMS to be here mid-round, who knows? Kenny, though, with this creep, is trying to keep himself covered. XMS spots the head, but will he expect number 2? Shocks also there. And even if Shocks can come up with 1 frag, he needs all 5. This looks very realistic in the sense of overtime. But Shoxy going to put up a bit of a fight here. Takes 1, walks into his death. RPK is poised and prepared. That is OT.
That's OT bound, and everyone is putting up frags on the board. I mean, both teams are playing really well. There's been minor mistakes from both teams, and it's come down to the T sides pretty much for both teams to really put numbers up on the board. ENVYUS will clutch it out there to force OT, as they're going to start on the CT side, while G2, of course, will start on the T side. And we may now see the op. Okay, so they're going to go immediately as soon as they get money into the double op on G2 side, which is interesting because on their regular time on their T side, even when Kenny has had money to go for the op, I don't think he went for it. Did he go for it once? Max? So it's not a lot. We saw the op come out on the T side for G2, and immediately they get money and they go into the double setup.
Pays off. Sixer gets spotted in his rotation towards spawn. But it's RPK again from above, just anchoring down those bomb sites to shift this back into the 4v4. Now there's pressure on Apex, because he's the man with the forward position. He's the guy behind them, and he misses the head of the player below. XMS and Apex just creep by one another, which honestly, while Apex doesn't get the kill, puts him in a great spot, because he's still going to be wary of there being some presence out there, and at the same time, they have no clue he's here. XMS thinks it's clear. RPK down to the A site itself. Here comes Apex walking back round, but he can't hit the shot.
Wow.
XMS punishes him for it and takes that man advantage.
XMS could have just kept sitting there and allowed his teammates to execute A, and then he peeks. Instead, he goes for the opening duel, loses it, and now his teammates are forced down towards B, where there's a player that's happy towards control, who's going to safely fall back, take an engagement, wins it against Shock's body. And his best to wallbang to find the refrag. Instead, ENVYUS, 2-man advantage on the retake. G2 running out of utility. His body gets close, only gets 1, and it's all on Kenny S, who they hear him coming now, misses the no-scope, and RPK will put him to bed, as ENVYUS will pick up the first CT round for themselves.
Great stuff, the start they'd hoped for. I mean, they had that strong CT start, or the strong CT end in the end, so that's great for them. They're able to hold this on. 3 players still alive. The double op setup from G2 pays off with the opening pick, but then there's that weird little situation between XMS and Apex that certainly shifts this back into the hands of ENVYUS. G2 kind of, get a little scattered. They attempt to just take ramp straight towards B, and while it nets them that bomb plant, the after plant just certainly wasn't enough. So ENVYUS get that crucial first round rolling. Kenny S, the sole op on this T side. Now, Sixer still mirrors it for the side of ENVYUS.
Yeah, it's interesting that they immediately just buy 1 back instead of the second. I guess they not feeling too comfortable with going in for 2 again. As Happy's gonna thinking about an early rotation off because they boosted that player. As Happy, look at this, XMS boosted. They don't even check it. He only gets 1. Happy gonna try to bring it back for ENVYUS. As him and Sixer, who rotates to hell, he's going to be able to get the bomb and just shut down G2 until Kenny S jumps up, and with the help of Shox, we're back immediately in a 2v2 as Shox did a lovely lurk into hell himself to deal with Sixer, who rotated, and now Scream's on 1 HP, RPK on 100, with G2 with a little bit of a control now towards Heaven/A.
Now we've got both G2 players side by side. The lit op of Kenny S is also the bomb carrier, so this is going to put a pressure on Shox to clutch things out. Utility for Kenny S. Molly double flash. CTs with the one kit, smoke double flash of their own, so it's certainly there to play off of. Kenny S is going to stay posted up in heaven. Shox is going to punch the numbers in, and that's the bomb plate on the A site. Scream so far away, and only with 1 health to play. Kind of has his hands tied. Kenny's waiting on the vent, hoping that the man comes up the ladder, but at the same time, both these CTs are more over towards ramp.
I think they're contemplating save here going in the next round. I'd be surprised if they commit to this. Yeah, it looks like, oh. Yeah, just gonna throw a flash and fall off. So, Scream gonna have to be quite a ways away not to take that 1 point of damage. I think he's safe here. I don't think he'll get that 1 point, and RPK is gonna save. So G2 will tie us up at 16s.
He's clenching.
They immediately answer back. Yeah, he's good. All right.
2 guns up, still tied. 16 apiece as we hit that final round of OT1.
Ooh, more importantly, RPK can actually drop it up over to Sixer, so good thing he stayed alive.
Yep. Crucial. Full utility, full armor, full kits.
Love it. Gotta love it. Scream early molly towards Hut. Shox, I believe that was an early nade. Getting a flash out, molly out, XMS, early smoke towards ramp. He's just gonna sit here, hope someone from G2 comes through the smoke, and his hopes are about to be answered as they'll come through. He lines up 2, looking for the 3rd XMS. Falls back down ramp. He is gonna get chased as Sixer tries to help him out, but XMS doesn't need help. He gets 4 kills, looking for the ace, and it is all XMS. Not only while falling back, fadeaway shots, and then re-aggresses to get the last. XMS, man, he's showing up. He's here. He's showing up G2 right now.
Yeah, what's cool with this lineup of ENVYUS as well is that when they formed, there's obviously some go-to picks, right? You want your most experienced players in the form of Scream, RPK, and Happy.
Exactly.
Sixer, during his stints with the LDLC teams, was one of these up-and-coming oppers, and they needed an op presence, so they kept him on the lineup. He had proven himself in the previous iteration. But honestly, there were options for XMS. It could have been Toinu as well, who's a fantastic French player.
Really good.
And he could have taken the op role from Sixer instead, but the rifling of XMS just pays off, and that's a perfect highlight reel proving why. He has the confidence to re-engage when they were so certain he had left for that B bomb site. Great stuff from the new gun, keeping himself at the top of the scoreboard for Team ENVYUS. G2 now on the CT side as we get to the second half of OT1. ENVYUS inside of lobby, 1 player anchoring outdoors. That's Happy. Everybody else waiting for the smokes to fade. So much time to play.
Good smoke now to maybe force that player, that's MBK, towards ramp to think about falling off. As Happy, we've seen him do these lurks before. They're so good. He got to hell last time unnoticed, unheard. And it looks like that's the same play, right? It's kind of the idea. We've seen this play from ENVYUS before where they show face towards ramp, pull an early rotation from the player in hell, and allow Happy to lurk, but Kenny S is just going to absolutely shut it down. So now ENVYUS' attack has very one face. His MBK is going to show face, and he gets 1. The second is good, as now he can just sit. He's going to get help from a player coming from ramp. RPK will shut down Apex. There's a lot more for RPK to do if he wants to get ENVYUS back into this round.
Especially now that Sixer's been dropped. G2 looking like they're going to pick up that first round of their CT side unless RPK goes big. But Shox responds back quite quickly. So 17 apiece. We are tied yet again, and there are 2 rounds left to play, so it's anybody's game for the time being. T-side's still going to have so much cash, but if they don't win this one, then suddenly their backs are against the wall in the form of economy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if ENVYUS win this one, G2 have money, and we could see a second OT. So this round is pretty much the sway round. Are we going to get OT2? Or is ENVYUS going to be forced into a situation they have to win it on pistols? Which is not ideal, especially when you're going to be up against an absolute full buy. As Body's going to fall back sight, early nade in towards lobby. Happy We may see a similar setup from ENVYUS, giving room from Happy to work with. But Kenny S has kind of learned onto this, the pattern of sending some player towards outer, picking up on like how quiet ENVYUS like to be. And when they're quiet, you know someone's lurking, you know someone's pushing somewhere. As this is just a perfect smoke placement now for Kenny S to sit and hope they come around red bin.
There you go. Sixer gets bodied. Kenny falls back. So he's not looking to gamble his life. They've got that man advantage. Scream as well tagged to 62. So at this point, G2 just need to hang on. It's going to help when NBK drops that bomb and RPK is gone. 3 players left alive for ENVYUS, most of which disjointed. You still have Happy lurking towards the outer yard. You've got Scream and XMS trying to play together here, but at a 2-man disadvantage, dwindling utility, and lowered time, how much can we expect from them in this round?
40 seconds. Shox is towards CT. It's an off angle. I don't think XMS is going to be ready for this. He actually is, so he wide swings perfectly on it. Shox fell back to play it safe. But XMS, who's been heating it up, takes the wide swing, is happy. If he can get 2 towards site, that'd be glorious. He's only able to get 1. Apex will bring it back, but Kenny hold on to Scream. That's not the case, as his teammates coming out. Mini and goodbye, Kenny S. All of a sudden, G2 crumble, and it's all an NBK on 17 HP.
10 seconds as the bomb goes down. Smoke still blocks him off. This will be a fantastic 3v5 for ENVYUS if they can just hang on. NBK's position unknown. Scream has his attention towards heaven. But once the smoke fades, this push becomes a reality. NBK not clearing his corners, and that's where XMS will take it. Fantastic round from ENVYUS to take that 1-point lead and to force G2 to fight for that double OT. They're going to have the money to go for it, but ENVYUS win the most crucial round so far of this game, and it comes in that 3v5 thanks to Scream and XMS lurking into hell, catching the defense off guard, and then Happy hitting his lurk from Hut. They pinch into that bomb site, they take it by storm, and now ENVYUS, they have this 1-point lead.
And it's interesting that G2, when on the brink of possibly losing game 1, they go back to the double up. And ENVYUS, it's the perfect play to change up the pace. Look at XMS, he's already in, and he's got 2 openers. Immediately, it will get answered, but not before Sixer finds one more for the road. The double ops left to retake A, and they're having a lot of heavy lifting to do in this spot. As there's a player on site, bomb goes down for ENVYUS. Kenny S has to come through a smoke, and Shox is mollied. And there you have it. Scream finds Kenny as it's all on Shox.
This looks as though, it's done, but Shox at least hits a hell of a shot. Gives us something to look at here as ENVYUS try to close out this round. Shox spots another, and that's it. She's done. Scream with the final headshot.